welcome to Mint. I am Nasreen Sultana. Climate change, gender equality and corporate governance are few issues that an investor should look at when he is investing his money in any company. To know how to invest in a company which is ESG compliant or environment, social, corporate governance compliant, I am joined by Mr. Chandru Badrinarayan. He is the managing partner of EQ Ventures. He was recently as a country head at MSCI in India. He was very instrumental in launching the MSCI and getting the MSCI ESG compliant companies in India. So I'm going to discuss more about what is an ESG fund. So Mr. Chandru, tell us what is an ESG investment fund is.
See, ESG investment generally means taking into consideration ESG factors when you are, along with financial factors, when you're investing into a company. Traditionally, it has been more of financial factors which are considered. ESG factors have not been so much considered, but all across the world, now very large investors are actually considering ESG factors. And this would mean factors where a corporate has risks because of environment, social and governance.
Right.
And even though I would say that, traditionally, when you're doing an investment, people do somewhat consider some of these factors, but it's not been in a very structured way it has been considered. So this is what I would say briefly is what ESG investing is about.
Right. So if I have to ask you, why is ESG relevant for an investor? Does an investor need to look at the ESG compliant companies when he is about to invest in a company?
Yeah. So see, whether it's a small investor or a very large investors, risks which emanate from environmental social governance are becoming more and more pertinent.
Right.
A very easy example would be to actually look at something like a governance. And we have seen that either in India or across the world, companies which are actually low on governance, the effect to the share prices is much higher than, probably what it was before.
Right.
And it is not just governance. You have social factors and you have environmental factors. Climate change is a very, very large agenda, and that has a cataclysmic effect on societies. So that becomes very important as far as the emissions of a corporate is concerned, or how they're able to, or how they're reducing the carbon footprint, either within their manufacturing process or across the supply chain. And from a social factor, it is something like a gender equality, which is an important element, and the pay. The difference in the average pay or the difference in the pay between, say, the CEO of the company at the bottommost. So these are becoming, much more important. And all these things get tied up in some way to the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, which are going in to actually make the world a better place than what we are seeing now. So that's why, it is extremely important for investors, whether they be small investors. In fact, small investors who are not tracking it get hit even more higher when suddenly some controversy actually breaks out. And this could be because of environmental disasters. This could be because of social things. We have seen where there have been some kind of sexual harassment cases in some companies, the share price actually drops. Or where there are governance issues, the share price actually certainly drops. And consequently, companies which actually take care of this risk, they are able to deliver better alpha because they put a large gap between, their peer group and what they're doing.
Right, right. So of lately, we have seen a lot of ESG funds or ESG compliant funds which have been launching in India, and there are a few more coming up. So why do you think India has become a hotbed as far as ESG funds are concerned?
Sure. So there are many factors. So generally, these are actually a lot of things keep happening, and then you keep getting certain inflection points.
Right.
Some of the inflection points which you have seen in the recent past is the endeavor of the government and trying to actually better the corporate governance in India.
Right.
And these are like sometimes the governance has a government has a signaling effect. So saying that the nobody is above the law, so which is one of the things. I think the other factor has been something like the GST, which is bringing even the small and medium companies into the mainstream. So that's one. But I think a large push is coming from international investors, the sovereign wealth funds and the pension funds across the world, who want to make a very positive societal change across the world. And for such funds, also actually climate change is a very, very pertinent issue because climate change leads to a lot of societal problems, leads to migration, which in turn affects countries across the world. So international investors are interested in seeing that, how do countries like India, where the climate change, and India and China, where the climate change is having profound effects, how does it actually, translate into these kind of things? So that is the first thing I would say is the government, then the international investors, international supply chain. Across the board, the international supply chain is demanding more compliance of environmental, social, and governance. The other issues, why India is actually coming up the curve on environmental, social governance, I would say is the rise of the social media, where the negative news especially actually gets spread much faster. So if a company has a controversy, it actually spreads much faster, and it actually affects the share price in that. A couple of more factors I can tell you is about the rise of the millennials. Millennials are today much more concerned about the environment, the water issues, the plastic pollution, and the social issues which are actually emanating. And we have seen actually across the world, people like Greta Thunberg, who is a 16-year-old Swedish girl who has been shaking up Europe with the kind of issues she's been raising with the European Parliament. And we do see the rise of the millennials in India also, because it's the next generation which has to shoulder the burdens of whatever is happening in India now and that. So this, and plus, there are also actually the National Voluntary Business Responsibility Guidelines, which are actually going to come into force. So all these things put together, probably, India is seeing the rise of interest in ESG funds. And probably this is the beginning of all these things which is happening now in India.
Okay. So, of recently, there has not been many ESG funds in India, and in fact, as far as last 2 years, even 2 years back, there was no India-focused ESG funds. So, in this scenario, how does India stack up as compared to global peers? Because in Europe, as you said, there is a lot of conviction towards investing into an ESG compliant company.
Right. See, one is in most of the countries, the role is played by the large sovereign wealth funds or the provident funds or the pension funds. So we are probably seeing the beginning of that in India, but more of the influence is coming from international funds wanting to do business, and they're actually been building up the ESG framework across all their investments. So any investment which most of the foreign funds or the sovereign wealth funds and the long-term investors have, large institutional long-term funds have in India, they're very particular that they actually have an ESG compliance in all these things. Now there are certain things which need to be done. I used to be the country head of MSCI before this, where we actually triggered the coverage of companies, the ESG rating of actually companies, which then large investors rely on, and then that's one of the point which was missing in that. So I think these kind of things and the endeavors of the government and many other regulators in India, everything is coming to a convergence, and that's why we are seeing an inflection of things starting to happen in India. The time has to be right, and we think that probably the time has come now in India for the launch of ESG funds.
Right. So there is a concern among a few retail investors that if I have to look through all the ESG guidelines and then invest in a company, how would the returns look like? Do you think the returns would be tapered as compared to a company who may not be ESG compliant, maybe just E and S compliant? And what do you think about the returns?
So the returns, see, world over, actually, there's been a lot of research which has been happening, and I'll probably come to this in a little bit while when I talk about a fund and everything. But there has been enough research to prove that companies which are compliant on ESG, they stand to benefit a lot on valuation. And even in India, we have seen there are quite a lot of examples of companies which have done, the share prices have moved when they have done, positive ESG things. One example could be Marico, Shree Cements, Berger Paints. So these are the kind of companies which anybody can go and see that, what are the steps which these companies have taken from an ESG risk perspective and how they've gone up the curve and bridge the valuation with their international peers in that. Okay. And conversely, if you're not taking into consideration, an E, S or G factor, the risk which is actually, see, each of these risks, not all of these risks would be specific to a company. Right. So some of the risks would be actually, there are key risks which actually affect each and every company. So for example, if you take a software company, the environment factor may not be as pronounced as it is for a manufacturing company as such. Right. The governance factor or the S factor would be more pronounced in that. And we have enough and more examples to say on the other side when companies do not follow governance, what happens? Right, we've seen even in the last 1 year, companies which have been poor on governance, they get hit on the share price pretty lot.
Right.
Pretty much. And, even on the E side, there are quite a few examples of companies, who are actually have to shut down their plants because they're not following the laid down norms on emissions, effluents, etc. And water stress is also a big issue. So if the companies do not take care of water stress in their vicinity, then it turns out into a social problem. We have seen on the emissions part, we have seen very recently in south of India, a large metals and mining company having an issue where they had to shut down the factory because of this emissions which are coming out.
The company that you recently joined is going to launch an ESG fund. Could you tell us more about the fund and what is the focus of your fund?
Yeah, so I'm a managing partner for a fund called eCube Investment Advisors. The first fund of this is something which we have launched for large institutional investors like sovereign wealth funds and pension funds. And this is actually a joint venture with Quantum Advisors, which is led by Mr. Ajit Dayal. And he's going to be a CIO of this fund as such. So it's a joint venture and it is actually jointly promoted. It's been actually promoted by 3 ex-Tata executives. Dr. Mukundrajan is the chairman. And then the other founding members are Mr. Govind Sankaranarayanan, who was the ex-CFO of Tata Capital and the Chief Operating Officer. And we have Alan Rosling, who was the ex-board member of Tata Sons Group in that. And we have other managing partners and people who are actually, 6 of us have come together to float this company. We're looking at a fundraise of $1 billion across various geographies. Now, our fund is very unique that in such, we are not just taking the investors' money and investing passively. We're going to be very actively engaged. So we are taking a private equity approach to public investments. So with the theme of ESG. So even though you have the PIPE or the private, public investments in private equity kind of things. So you don't have anywhere in India at least a fund which is actually very unique, which deploys the funds in the investing companies and is also actively engaged with them to take them up the curve on the ESG factors and reduce their ESG risk over a period of time. It takes almost 3 to 4 years minimum to actually make that shift. And there is enough research to prove the value transmission, how it happens. So there is some value transmission which actually comes in year 1, then in year 2 to 3, and then in year 4 to 5. So this is how we'll be actually doing. And we are sector agnostic, but we'll be looking only at listed space, not at the private equity space.
So Mr. Chandru, the fund that you just spoke about, is it an impact fund or does it give returns to the investors?
I'm so glad you asked me that question. I want to emphasize this is not an impact fund. Of course, it has an impact on society, and that's what we are striving for. This is a fund which wants to prove that doing business in the best good way is good for investors and gives better returns than other companies. So we are benchmarked, the fund is benchmarked to the MSCI small cap, and we aim to actually beat the MSCI India small cap index for returns to investors in that. And as I had actually emphasized before, this is a joint venture with the Quantum Advisors, which has been actually in the forefront of corporate governance. And our tie-up with that actually then is actually fits in very well with our ethos and with the investment track record of Quantum Advisors.
Thank you, Mr. Chandru. That was insightful. So for an investor, it's very important to see if the company that he or she is investing, if it is ESG compliant, because it gives better returns in the long run. That's all from now. For more details, stay tuned.